Hello everyone, Slow Rider here again for your viewing pleasure, if you want to call it that. Some might call it torture. I couldn't possibly comment. Well, I just have, I guess. Oh, damn it. So it's Sunday, it's day 3 of Silverstone, the British Grand Prix. It's race day. And I'd love to be able to say it's the day where the points get dished out, but some of them got dished out yesterday. Yeah, well, one of those things, I guess. So, yeah, I'm going off the sat-nav this morning because I want the quickest route. So there's going to be a little bit of mind-numbing boringness in the sense of you've been down these roads before, but I might be able to edit it in such a way that you don't really notice, except for the fact I've just told you. Yeah, there we go. Marvellous. Sit back and enjoy, or have a cup of tea, or do some work or something. I do like these Sunday morning rides. There's something about Sunday mornings. Everyone's, well, not everyone, but the majority of people are out like a light from the night before. You can get a good few hours of riding in, long before there's any traffic, usually. Might have to change this arrangement. I mean, look at that view. Just look at it. It's magnificent. And you get nice covered roads like this. Or rolling hills. It's just gorgeous. Oh, I can't believe I'm here already. I mean, there's a long way to go, but used to feel like a journey coming up here. Horses. Please go left, please go left, please go left, please go left. Yay! Yeah, you really don't appreciate the countryside until you get out into it. I can't remember if I've mentioned or not, but it's one of the reasons why I don't go on the motorways, for this sort of thing. Oh, there was a lay-by, damn it. I mean, normally I'm a sort of a staring out into the sea kind of person, you know, I'll sit on the coast and just stare out. But there's something about riding a bike through the countryside that's just damn good. Thank you. Yeah, Sunday mornings are the best time for biking, unless you've got to be somewhere. Right, so recap, today's race day, which means Friday was first practice and first qualifying day. Yesterday was second practice and sprint qualifying, which I don't know. I think the jury's still out for me on that one. But it did give us an insight into how fast people are. It does seem quite odd that the car with the fastest time doesn't sit on pole, but I don't know. Now that doesn't happen often. It does happen, but it doesn't happen often. An example that springs to mind was Michael Schumacher in the Mercedes. I forget which year it was, but it was at Monaco, and he qualified on pole but had a 5-place grid penalty. So he did the fastest lap, but he wasn't on pole. So it does happen, but it's a bit odd. So yeah, Verstappen on pole for today's race. Hamilton second. He could do what Verstappen did yesterday in the sprint race and get a decent start, get into turn 1 ahead, but I think the Red Bulls generally have the better starts, so yeah, it's a slim chance I think, but it's possible. It is possible. Lando's in a good position, 5th. Ricciardo 6th. They've got quick cars, the McLarens. Maybe not as quick as the top 2 teams, but it is quick. It was interesting to see if Ferrari in the mix in 4th. We'll see how they do in the race. They might not do too bad, they seem pretty quick in sprint qualifying. Yeah, they were speaking yesterday on the track radio commentary about how the sprint qualifying is basically a race. I mean, it's qualifying, but it's a race. Qualifying race that you get points for. Anyway, and there was sort of, you know, after the sprint race had happened, after the sprint qualifying had happened, they were talking about what they expected from the race. They're saying, oh, well, you know, they've either had to set their car up for the sprint qualifying, or they've had to set their car up for the race, and it's the same thing. I don't know, there might be slight setup differences depending on what tyre you want to have, I suppose. You know, I understand the difference between going fast for 1 lap and going fast for 50 laps. You know, there's different setups for which is quickest. But for sprint qualifying, you're basically trying to get your quickest anyway, or at least have your quickest overall car. Not quickest over a lap, but quickest over the period of time. Is it any different to the race? I don't think it is. I think that's why a lot of people see this whole sprint qualifying weekend is on Saturday you have the first part of the race, and on the Saturday you have the second part of the race. You have a red flag overnight. It is kind of how that is, except, I mean, yeah, no, exactly like a red flag, because then you have the restart the next day. Standing start, you know, it is very much like that. It is an issue they're going to have to try and work out It might have been better. This is just me sounding off. I haven't really thought about this. Doing what they do in F2, having the one qualifying session, and then having an actual sprint race, but reversing part of the grid. So you haven't got all the fast cars at the front, and they've got to make their way through. And of course, with F2, you've now got 3 races, so there are 2 sprint races, and yeah. It balances itself out a little bit, I guess, but then you go for the main race, you go back to the original qualifying in the correct order, and that potentially gives some of the lesser teams a chance to get lots of points. I suspect if you did it as a Formula 1 thing, you might have to reverse the whole grid rather than just the first 10 or something. I don't know, no, it couldn't be the whole grid, because then people would want to go the slowest. To give them best chance of getting points, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure this is the way that Formula 1 wants to go. I think in a way they're starting to get away from what Formula 1 actually is and make it an entertainment rather than a sport. The world is moving away from what Formula 1 was, the fastest man in the fastest machine. It's now a show, which is a shame. An entertaining show, but a show nevertheless. So yeah, anyway, I think there were 2 things that could determine the race today, sadly. The first is the start and turn 1. Maybe leading up into the loop, you know, sort of. Abbey's turn 1, and you've got Farm, the loop, and then Aintree, I think that's right, off the top of my head. Have I missed one? Village, I've missed Village. Farm, Village, the loop. Anyway, that's one part, and I think the pit stops will be the other. But I'll go with the start being the main one, to be honest. You have to be so close to make a difference in the pit stops. And yes, there is DRS zones, but yesterday has shown you can't really use them. I think Verstappen and Hamilton this weekend are actually really closely matched in terms of pace. Hamilton said he was surprised at how closely paced they were. But yeah, it's going to be close. I think it might be whoever goes into turn 1 wins. Further back, Bottas will finish 3rd, I think. Unless something happens in the race, I think he'll finish 3rd. Then 4th. Oh no, the Ferraris did look pretty quick. So I mean, potentially it's grid order for the finish. There may be things that happen in the race, but that's what you're looking at, I think, for the front runners. You've got Perez and one of the Ferraris coming back through the field. That could be interesting. Could be. But Perez couldn't make much of a mark yesterday in sprint qualifying, and he had one of the fastest cars. So. One of the slightly odd things that I've noticed over this weekend is how the various people have interpreted the rules that are going on. With some people, for example, saying in the main qualifying on Friday they could use whatever tyres they want, and other people saying no, it's just got to be softs. And as it turns out, they only use softs, so I assume that that was correct. Then for the sprint qualifying, you had 2 new sets of tyres to use, hards and mediums, but the use of tyres was mediums and softs. It was a little odd in that regard. The race, the only difference I know for the race is that you don't start the race on the tyres you used in Q2 and qualifying, which is the normal rule. That aside, I think it's the regular race. It's the regular rules for the race, which is, yeah. Might be interesting. Might be same old, same old. The atmosphere will be good though. It always is Silverstone on a Sunday. Pretty good on a Saturday normally, and it was yesterday, and yeah, I expect it to be pretty good today. George Russell starting 9th. It looks like he's got reasonable pace, so I think he can probably hang in it around there and get some points. Provided nothing happens during the race. I've said it, I've cursed him. It'll be the first time in a long time we've had 3 Brits in the points. Has it ever happened before? I don't know. I don't know. I can think of a few times when there's been 2. Now there's no track walk after the race today. Which is, I mean, it's completely understandable, pandemic and everything going on. Completely understandable, but it's a little disappointing. I would say, however, I mean, I say that the reason I completely understand is when you're going through the gates, if you've ever done it, it's a hell of a crush getting through, because everyone wants to get through and see the podium and be at the front, and yeah, it's a mess sometimes, it really is. So I completely get that they don't want to do it this year. I suspect that means that a lot of people are going to be heading home after the race. Some will wait for the ceremony, a varying amount, depending on who actually wins the race, I suspect. So, predictions for the race. Honestly, I think Verstappen's going to win it from pole. Hamilton was in pole. He might have had a chance. I think it's Verstappen's to lose. So I think if Hamilton gets second, that's his best hope at the minute. Oh, if Lando can pick up a podium, that'd be awesome, but I think he's going to be 4th or 5th. George Russell getting points would be amazing, frankly. And he's the one that people have actually been really showing affection for this weekend. He's done superbly in that Williams. It's not a good car, but he's really shown what it can do. He's put his teammate in the shade. He's done really well as Georgie boy. I'm almost tempted to buy a George Williams hat. Almost. The thing that puts me off is the £45 price tag. I think you do tend to see a lot of bikes around this part of the world, because not too far down the A5 here is a bike cafe called the Super Sausage Cafe. I say it's a bike cafe, bikes meet there. There's lots of bike memorabilia inside, I'm going off that. Lovely little place. Between Toaster and Milton Keynes. You want to look at it on a map? You'll have seen everything that's there in a matter of minutes, but it's good food. Reasonable price, I would say. Oh, looks like they blocked it up properly. God damn it. Oh no, hold on. Oh, there's a way in. God damn. No, just want a space. Yeah, damn, god damn. Don't think they're gonna like me parking there. Sorry?
As long as I can get into the back of that trailer. Alright?
No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So the race then. Well, let's start at the start. It was pretty hectic racing action on that one. And okay, you probably, if you're into Formula 1, you'll probably want to know what my opinion is on that particular incident.